stark message that has been given by External Affairs Minister S Jaishankar to Canada at UNGA. Now, amid escalating tensions between India and Canada, External Affairs Minister S Jaishankar took a veiled dig at Canada while addressing the United Nations General Assembly. He said that respect for territorial integrity and non-interference in internal affairs cannot be exercised in cherry-picking. He further said that political convenience cannot be the basis for a response to terrorism or extremism. Remember, India and Canada have been locked in a diplomatic row since Prime Minister Justin Trudeau last week claimed that Indian agents were involved in killing of Khalistani terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar. In fact, a protest also took place in Vancouver against India, but only a handful of extremists took part in it. Now, India's tricolour was actually burnt by protesters there, and a cardboard cutout of Prime Minister Modi was also defaced by separatists.
Nor must we countenance that political convenience determines responses to terrorism, extremism, and violence. When reality departs from the rhetoric, we must have the courage to call it out. Without genuine solidarity, there can never be real trust. This is very much the sentiment of the Global South. Similarly, respect for territorial integrity and non-interference in internal affairs cannot be exercises in cherry-picking.
What we told the Canadians. One, we told the Canadians that this is not the Government of India's policy. Two, we told the Canadians saying that, look, if you have something specific, if you have something relevant, let us know. We are open to looking at it. So, but to understand the context of it, in a way, because the picture is not complete without the context in a way, you also have to appreciate, Ken, that in the last few years, Canada actually has seen a lot of organized crime, relating to, the secessionist forces, organized crime, violence, extremism. They're all very, very deeply mixed up. So, in fact, we have been, talking about specifics and information. We have actually been badgering the Canadians. We have given them a lot of information about organized crime leadership, which operates out of Canada. There are a large number of extradition requests. There are terrorist leaders who have been identified. So do understand that there is an environment out there. So that is important in a way to factor in. If you have to understand what is going on out there. And our concern is that it's really been very permissive because of political reasons. So we have a situation where actually our diplomats are threatened, our consulates have been attacked, and often comments are made about there's interference in our politics, and a lot of this is often justified as saying, well, that's how democracies work.
But if there are specific pieces of evidence that they provide, the government of India will cooperate with them in terms of
look, if somebody gives me something specific, it doesn't have to be restricted to Canada, but if there's any incident which, is an issue, and somebody gives me something specific as a government, I would look at it. Of course I would look at it. I'm not part of the Five Eyes. I'm certainly not part of the FBI. So I think you're asking the wrong person. I'm not part of the Five Eyes. I'm certainly not part of the FBI. So I think you're asking the wrong person.
At the same time, as we put great emphasis on the importance of equality, we also have to uphold the values of free and democratic societies. We cannot bend the rules of state-to-state relations for political expediency, because we've seen and continue to see the extent to which democracies are under threat through various means of foreign interference. But the truth is, if we don't adhere to the rules that we've agreed to, the very fabric of our open and of our free societies may start to tear.
So you heard External Affairs Minister S Jaishankar being very austere about his stance about the entire standoff between Canada and India, because amid escalating tensions between these two nations, External Affairs Minister S Jaishankar took a veiled dig at Canada while addressing the United Nations General Assembly. There you saw the visual of him speaking about the entire row that has now escalated between the two nations as well. He said that respect for territorial integrity and non-interference in internal affairs cannot be exercised in cherry-picking. It should not be selective. Of course, he further said that political convenience cannot be the basis for a response to terrorism or extremism that is currently in Canada. And remember, India and Canada have been locked in a diplomatic row since Prime Minister Justin Trudeau last week claimed Indian agents were involved in the killing of Khalistani terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar. In fact, a protest was also there in Vancouver against India, where only a handful of extremists took part. It happened yesterday. India's tricolour was burnt down by the protesters, and a cardboard cutout of Prime Minister Modi was also defaced by separatists. Let us get more details about what exactly transpired there in Vancouver, and the word coming in from External Affairs Minister S Jaishankar from CNN News 18's Abhishek Jha joining me live on the broadcast. Abhishek, quite an austere stance that has been put forward by External Affairs Minister S Jaishankar. What are the key takeaways from the things that he said there at the global platform? Also, what exactly happened there in Vancouver yesterday? How did the Canadian government respond to the entire saga that transpired yesterday?
While talking at the United Nations General Assembly's 78th Assembly meeting, External Affairs Minister S Jaishankar talked about the Indian growth story, how India has emerged as an economic powerhouse, how the social and economic development in India is actually it calls for a place in the world of power right now. Also, the G20 success of G20 presidency in India, which was kind of historic in achieving a joint declaration amidst the divisive time that we are currently living in. At the same time, he also tried to unmask the hypocrisy of the Western world when he said about the rules-based order, that who creates rules-based order, and the countries who have been doing it for all along now, they cannot continue to do so, and it will be challenged that who sets the rule, who sets and who defines the rules-based order. Talking about terrorism, he said that the safe havens of terrorism should be called out. We have seen recently External Affairs Ministry calling Canada as a safe haven for terrorists, and this is truly being noted and hinted at by the External Affairs Minister at United Nations General Assembly as well. So clearly, India's stand has been that the definition of terrorist should be clearly set and outlined. A terrorist for one nation cannot be a social or political activist in another territory, and especially when the two nations have been calling each other strategic partners. Remember, India and Canada, they have been trying to enhance partnership because of the Indo-Pacific game, the larger game that is being played right now, because of the China, and Canada has also shown interest in having a close collaboration with India as a partner, as a strategic partner. But that does not go well if you cannot have the same line of definition for a terrorist or an individual who is involved in secessionist activities that concerns India's sovereignty. Also, External Affairs Minister called out the cherry-picking instances of internal, interference in the internal affairs of another country. While the world has seen so many times Western nation going ahead and trying to create a coup, trying to dethrone a very elected government of certain nations in the name of democracy or stabilizing democracy, or creating or dethroning a government which has not been aligned to their ideology. And this has been a pattern that the West and the EU and NATO alliance have tried to do in several parts of the world. So that is the kind of hypocrisy that the West has lived with all these decades, and now they are trying to create, what Canadian Foreign Minister said, that the political expediency for the political compulsion. So this should not be defined as that. When India is calling out a terrorist, an individual who is involved in anti-India activities, the concerned party or the strategic partner should take note of that, and there should be some action, which has not been the case, at least with Canada.
This is about the stern and sharp